What's good, Seahawks fans? Welcome into this live edition of Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for spending part of your Wednesday afternoon happy hour session with us. Tyler Smith, known as Smitty, will be joining us coming up in just a few moments. But as you guys file in and we get this show on the road, shout out your city, where you are watching from, in the comments section, and let us know where you are at as we get this show on the road here on this Wednesday. The first preseason game already in the books. Now we turn our attention to preseason game number 2 coming up this week against the Dallas Cowboys. Where are you guys at? I see Ian's in the chat, says, let's go. Good to see you, Ian. Ilona says, hello. Hello. Carlitos says hi. Dat Fat Rat says, Papa Jones, good to see you, Dat Fat Rat. Been a while. Let's see. Tali Bai says, go Hawks. Indeed, go Hawks. Ilona says, let's go 12s, yeah. Pablo says, hashtag Seahawk. Also, Dat Fat Rat, Papa Jones with the fire. I'd love to see it. Mikey in Houston back in the chat. Good to see you. Been a while since we've seen you, Mikey in Houston. Let's see. Who else we got here? Mage is in Bakersfield. Ilona in Seattle. Pablo says, let's go Seahawks. Christopher in Washington. Carl in South Hill. Let's see. Alpine Everett. Good to see you. I also have Booby G says, Tyler, what's good, my main man? Good to hear you. Good to hear from you. Everybody that's here today. Adam in Shelton, Washington. Chris in Stafford, Virginia. Alabama. Got Pablo in South Carolina as well. We are coming at you from the Chat Sports Studios here in Dallas, Texas, as Ninja checks in from Port Angeles. And I bring in the one and only Tyler Smith, known as Smitty, who's hanging out with us today. You saw him on Thursday night and did a bang-up job in his debut here on the channel. And you'll see a lot more of Smitty, including today, as he joins us right now. Smitty, welcome. Good to hear from you. You know, I was thinking, we're kind of in enemy territory right now because we're in the Chat Sports Studios in Dallas.
That's right.
As the Seahawks play the Cowboys this week.
Yeah, seems like the Seahawks are always playing the Cowboys in the regular, or not the regular season, excuse me, the preseason. They will face again in the regular season shortly after Thanksgiving. But yeah, we are in a bit of enemy territory right now. Excited to see some more Seahawks action this weekend, some more rookie action, some more UDFA action, see who's going to make this team, see who's not. It's very exciting. So happy Seahawks football's back. And so happy to be on Seahawks Live with all you guys.
Yes, the 12s. Hope you're having a good one. Thanks for hanging out here today. Pablo says, hell yeah, beat the Cowgirls. Dat Fat Rat, T. Smith getting a shout out there. Carlos in Los Angeles. Paul says, I hope TJ will do good against Mr. Downey on Saturday. Hey, 12s, we're going to hold our own. We're going to battle out Tom Downey in the Cowboys report, and you guys will not let me down. I already know that much already. Mark is in Woodinville here. Good to see you. I got Tacoma also in the chat as well. Spokane in the house. Yeah. Go Zags. Missed out on going to the Big 12, Gonzaga did. Let's see. Let's see. Ian says, turn up. Hey, I'm always down to turn up. Bo and Stanwood as well. How many games will the Seahawks win this season? What is the magic number going to be? The regular season win total for your Seattle Seahawks. I know we didn't see the starters play on Thursday, Smitty, but I got to tell you, I feel really good about this Seattle Seahawks team entering 2023 with what we saw from the second-team guys and the depth that was on display in that game, as well as schematically, too. I loved what I saw from the offense. Some zone read stuff from Holton there. Yeah. I think that if that can translate to the first team, some of those elements that we saw from the second and third teamers, watch out. This offense is going to keep people on their toes.
Geno's going to have to get on his horse if he's going to have to start running some zone reads. I haven't seen a good zone read run by this offense in
a long time.
Probably since Russell Wilson's second year. They really went away from him rushing the football as soon as he kind of hit his stride as a passer. Came into the league as a real scrambling quarterback. But as the years went on and on, he seemed to only scramble when he needed to make a play, and they less design runs for Russell Wilson. So if they can incorporate that into the first-team offense, I wouldn't say I'm the most confident in Geno being able to do that, but if they can, I'm all for it.
Yeah, me too. We're going to show you what some of these so-called experts had to say coming up later on the win total predictions. Matthew says 11. Pedro says 10-6. Pablo says 12 wins. Dat Fat Rat says floor is 10-7. Ceiling 14-3. Ilona says 12. Matthew says 12. Bo says 11. Stephanie says 11. Mikey in Houston says 12. Pablo says Seahawks win 12 games. Chris says 9. Ilona says we are sweeping the 49ers. It's time to win the division. I like the way you think, Ilona.
That'd be lovely.
That'd be great. Jay's watching from Cancun. I wish I was in Cancun right now. That'd be nice. Meanwhile, next question that we have for you. This one is always a fun one to ask. Ian says your mic's too quiet, by the way, Smitty.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that, and I think I should put it up a little bit here. Let me see what we're working with.
By the way, folks, there is no mailbag segment today. Just the way things went with scheduling and planning for the rest of the week ahead. So the only way we can get you on the screen today, since there is no mailbag, is by super chatting, and we'll get to the super chat menu coming up later. But we want to know, as we begin this show and get people filing in, who is the greatest Seahawks player of all time? This is always a fun question to ask the 12s out there of who the greatest is, because there's never a end to this discussion. This is an evolving question the more we ask. And Bo Harvey says Steve Largent. Smitty, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are a lifelong Seahawks fan.
Absolutely am.
And as a historian of this team, too, I imagine, I don't know your answer, actually, on this. What would be your answer for
it's
who the
tough.
greatest Seahawks player is of all time?
It's definitely tough. There's a few different answers you could go with. Largent's obviously one of them.
Right.
Russell Wilson is very arguable for greatest Seahawk of all time. Now, these days, I wouldn't love to agree with that, even though it might be objective at this point. But Cortez Kennedy, Walter Jones, and Sean Alexander are three old-time Seahawks that come to mind as far as before the Legion of Boom era, before the Pete Carroll, Schneider era. Those guys all come to mind as guys who could be the greatest Seahawk of all time. I hope it's somebody on the current roster, though. That'd be fantastic. Maybe Devon Witherspoon or Jaxon Smith-Njigba could one day hold that title.
I mean,
so
Bobby, you could make a case for.
Who's that? Oh, Bobby Wagner.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know who Bobby is? Yeah.
Yeah. I actually couldn't hear you for a second, but yeah, Bobby 100% could be in that category. I mean, being undisputed top 2, top 3 linebacker for a decade.
Yeah.
Not many teams can say that they had the luxury of having a player like that on the roster. So he's
Let's see
definitely
what the chat is saying. Bo says Steve Largent. Matthew says Bobby Wagner. Matthew says the 12s. Okay, sure. Ian says Walter Jones, Ortez. Wayne says Cortez Kennedy. Mark says John L. Williams. Wayne also says Russell. Come on, don't go there. That's on Smitty. He went there, not me. Matthew says Marshawn Lynch. Adam says hit the thumbs up. Yes, please do that. Thank you, guys. The more likes we get helps out the algorithm. More people can join us here on the show. Also, let's see. Matthew, Marshawn Lynch. Ilona points out Alex Collins was good and sad he passed away. Very unfortunate news about Alex Collins there. Dat Fat Rat, Sean Alexander, or Bam Bam. Matthew says Bobby Wagner. Ilona, Bobby Wagner. Vance says greatest all-time Seahawk is Steve Largent. Pablo says Bam Bam, Cam Chancellor.
I'm going to give my quick shout-outs here to Pablo and Dat Fat Rat for going for Cam Chancellor, my favorite Seahawk of all time, my favorite football player of all time. So,
yeah.
Shout out to you guys. Big 31. We love it.
You know, a lot of diversity in this chat. I'm seeing about, 10 different answers to this question. That's why it's a good question to continue asking, because there is no one definite answer of who the greatest Seahawks player of all time is on that front. But a lot of good chat there from you guys on your thoughts of the greatest Seahawks player of all time. With the Seahawks playing the Cowboys this week, this won't be the last time we see the Cowboys, as the Seahawks will play them, I think it's the week after Thanksgiving. And I want to know, what do you hate most about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? I have a lot of things I hate about the Dallas Cowboys. I know that we live in Dallas, but I could care less. In fact, it probably makes me hate them even more.
Yeah, I think so too.
Living here in Dallas as far as the Cowboys go. But First off, it's their fans. They're the most obnoxious fans in the National Football League.
That's what I go with as first as well.
It's the arrogance that the Cowboys have of being America's team. And, yeah, we're the playoff wins the last 25 years. That would be another one for me. Jerry Jones would be high up there. Jerry is incredible as a businessman. As a businessman, he's the best owner in the league. As a football mind, he has done an awful job. He's run that organization like the Bengals. So for me, those are the first three things that come to mind is their fans, the arrogance, and Jerry Jones of what I hate most about the Cowboys. What do you guys hate most about the Cowboys? Bo says the fan base. Andrew says Jerry Jones. Matthew says Dak Prescott. Charlie says the it's our year mentality. That's another good one as well. Those are all good answers. Dak, I'll say this. As much as there is to hate about the Cowboys, I don't know how you feel, Smitty. I actually don't hate Dak.
I actually was a huge Dak fan his rookie season, coming in, being the one guy ahead of Goff and Wentz who was actually succeeding at that class. Paxton Lynch, another one. So I was a big fan of Dak back then. Now Dak has really exemplified what being a Cowboy is. Arrogant, thinks it's their year every year, says he's in the best shape of his life, going to limit the interceptions. We haven't really seen that in training camp so far. So Dak, I just think he's a little corny. I don't think he is corny. I don't think he is really Super Bowl winning franchise QB material. They treat him like one because he's a Cowboy, but promise you if he was on a lot of other teams in this football league, he wouldn't have the same security that he does in Dallas.
Vance with a good answer. They're claimed to be America's team. Yes, it's obnoxious. Mark says Micah Parsons. Chris says Jerry Jones. Mike says Whataburger. No, okay. Of all things to criticize the Cowboys, don't come after my Whataburger. I love Whataburger. I'm not going to stand for any Whataburger slander in the chat. Sorry, that's not acceptable here. But some very good answers. Pablo, Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in quite a while. That's true, Pablo.
It's interesting.
By the way, it's Pablo's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday,
on Monday.
Pablo.
Pablo, you are a real one. Happy birthday to you.
A lot of people are saying some players here. Micah Parsons, I don't think he's hateable, in my opinion. Somebody's saying Zeke, but he's gone.
Zeke's gone. He's a Patriot now.
I don't even hate Zeke either.
Yeah?
The guy beat Alabama. I can never be mad at Zeke.
Okay. So some very interesting answers on what you hate most about the Cowboys. Little game here for the 12s out there. I want to see how many S's we can get in the chat in the next minute. If you are a real member of the 12s, a diehard Seahawks fan, here is the challenge for you. I'm going to put a minute on the clock, and I want to see as many S's as we possibly can over this next minute. And Smitty, I think Smitty loves doing this based on how things went on Thursday night. Smitty's going to shout out everybody.
We love it. I love doing this.
That's spamming S in the chat. So we'll count them down. I see Bo already getting started. And let's see who can be the early favorite to be MVP.
Open.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, Michael Edwards, here we go. We got Matthew Bellamont. We have Yannick, we have Lona. We have Ian Herron. We have Mark. We have... All right, come on. We need some more. Neku. We have...
Faster!
Mage.
Pick up the pace,
Mark
everybody.
Spitz. We have Nice Try Government. We have Michael Edwards. We have Pedro. We have Matthew Salamone. We have Andrew. We have Isaac Gonzalez. Good to see you again, Isaac. Who else we got? Jacoby.
30 seconds gone by. Keep going. Faster, everybody. Pick up the pace.
Keep spamming those S's. Come on. I need to see these names. Let's go, Dat Fat Rat. Let's get it. Keep it up. Keep spamming those S's. Andrew, Charlie. Let's go. Let's go. Let's keep it up. Wayne Seattle. How we doing? Mike Stalker. Alfonso.
10 seconds.
Big Fields. How we doing?
Finish strong.
Everybody spam those S's. Chris P. How we doing? Chris Taylor. How we doing? All right.
Good work.
Spamming those S's.
Good
Love
work,
to see
everybody.
it. Alex. You'll be the last shout out. Alex Saucedough.
Man, there were so many in there in this last minute. I think Wayne Seattle might have had the most.
Yeah, Wayne Seattle was cooking with gas.
Wayne Seattle was cooking, definitely. But Mark.
Pedro was cooking for sure.
lot of good ones there. This S.
Love to see it, guys.
That Fat Rat says, bro, I spammed so much it told me to stop messaging. That's funny. That's cool to see. If you're ready to start today's show, go ahead and hit that like button, and then we'll tell you what's coming up ahead. We're 27 likes right now. I need 40 likes to get this show started. I need 12 more of you to hit that like button, to send some good vibes to your Seattle Seahawks, to get this show on the road, to get things officially started today. If you want your Seahawks to win on Saturday night, to beat those Dallas Cowboys, then go ahead and hit that like button. Just give it a little tickle. Give it a little tickle, and we'll get this show started. 10 more likes away from getting this show on the road. Ilona liked the video. Thank you, Ilona. Matthew says, smash that duckin' like button. I like that. Let's see. What else we got in the chat? About 7 more. Bo says already did. Thank you, Bo, for that. Now we're down to 4 more. 4 more likes, and we'll officially get this show started. In the meantime, while we wait on your likes, let's show you what is ahead on this edition of Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. The latest news and rumors. I got a lot out of training camp. Pete Carroll had a lot to say this week in regards to Geno Smith, Devon Witherspoon, and others. We'll dive into that coming up. Also, we're going to look at potential trade targets for your Seattle Seahawks. Who are some players that they could add to the roster before the season begins? And I have a look at a little stock up, stock down, some training camp winners and losers as training camp wraps up this week. Today is the last public practice. It's one of the best days of all. It's Kids Day at Seahawks training camp today. So we'll take one more look at the winners and losers, stock up, stock down from camp coming up in just a moment. Super Chat menu today. Here is how you can get involved in today's show. Any Super Chat gets you a shout-out. $5 will sing the DK song. We sang a lot of the DK song on Saturday night. I would love to sing that again. $7 will do a little Geno shot. I got the fireball in hand ready to go. We can take some shots for our boy Geno for $7. Every $20 will do a little beer chug. Every $50 we'll get out the beer shotgun. We'll shotgun a beer. Shotgun's around here somewhere. We'll bring it out. Also, $100, and you get a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame. We'll do an induction ceremony for you and everything. We inducted a lot of people on Thursday night, and I would love to induct some more members. It'd be awesome if we could get this boot filled before the season begins. And here's what I'm willing to offer. A little happy hour special for the 12s that are here with us on this Wednesday afternoon. If we get to 200 collectively in Super Chats today, then I'll take down a boot. $200. That's all we're asking for. Collectively, if you guys can send in $200 today, I'll take down a boot here on the show. And being Pablo's birthday, maybe we can sing happy birthday to him. How about this? First Super Chat that comes in, I don't care who it comes in from, we'll sing happy birthday to Pablo, show him some love. And whoever sends in the first Super Chat of any amount, you're going to be the one that gets credited towards that. Sing happy birthday to Pablo. Steelers Talk is on the air right now. Friend of the show, Jack Sperry, is live right now. And we're doing a little Super Chat battle between us and Steelers Talk. They're already off to a little bit of a lead. $88 over on Steelers right now as we get our first Super Chat from Adam. We'll get to that here in just a second. But let's take it to Steelers today. We're not doing a mailbags. The only way you can get on screen is through a Super Chat. Show us some love, and let's see if we can take down Steelers Talk. They may have gotten the better end of Super Bowl 40, but I'm looking for my revenge today. I want to take down Steelers Talk. So first Super Chat of the day comes from Adam. We'll get to this Super Chat. We'll sing happy birthday to Pablo, and then we'll get started with today's show. Adam says, with a $7 Super Chat, that means that's a Geno shot that I got to take down. Adam writes in, what Cowboy weakness should the Seahawks exploit the most in the upcoming game? I got to tell you, when I watched the Cowboys last year, I'd be curious what you think here on this, Smitty. One of the things I noticed was that team, when they were at their best, it was when they were running the football and when they were setting up their run game to open up the passing game. with Tony Pollard and Zeke and those guys. And I don't expect that to be any different here with Deuce Vaughn as their number 2 running back. But basically, what I would do if I'm trying to exploit a weakness and such, if I'm the Seahawks against Dallas here, I'm trying to make them throw the football. I would take my chances. We saw how much the Seahawks struggled last week in run defense. I would try to make Dallas throw the football. I think that is going to be what you want them to do because Dak likely not to play much, if at all. I'll take my chances of Cooper Rush and the other little sisters of the poor of what they had to do in the passing game. But I'd make them throw the football.
Definitely.
Cheers to Adam. All right, Pablo, let's sing happy birthday to you. A 1, a 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pablo. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, Pablo.
Happy birthday, Pablo. Hope you have a great birthday, my friend.
Everybody spam Pablo.
Everybody spam Pablo in the chat. Adam, thanks for the $7 super chat. Happy birthday to Pablo. Let's get this show started. Seahawks Today live, beginning with our news and rumors. The latest is training camp is wrapping up. We'll have that for you right now here on Seahawks Today. Big show ahead. We're talking about year 2 expectations for Geno Smith. Also, this team playing with a chip on their shoulder, something to prove. And what will Devon Witherspoon's role be in 2023? We have answers for you from Pete Carroll coming up on today's show. Let's start with Geno Smith as he enters year number 2. Pete Carroll, in an interview this week with 710 Seattle Sports Radio, revealed his expectations for his Seahawks quarterback. And let's just say there's a lot of optimism for Geno Smith in his second year under center for Seattle. Pete Carroll saying this about Geno. I think the main thing that comes to mind is consistency. It was cute that he showed up and was waiting there, and he's all sweaty after his workout yesterday, and he wanted to know, okay, what do I need to do to get better? He's constant about that, and it is constant inconsistency that keeps showing up. I think that's what's going to be the key to this season. We're not asking him to do anything unique or special or out of the ordinary. We want him to just play the game like he knows how to play it. If he does that, then he's a great complement to the rest of the club. And that's 100% right. The thing the Seahawks need to see out of Geno Smith in 2023 is to see him play, and I put this in all caps for a reason in my take below, consistently at a high level for the entire season. Okay? This is something that the Seahawks need to see of him consistently taking care of the football, making smart decisions, and to be able to be trusted at any time. Because if we're being real with y'all, that's what we do here on Seahawks Today. We love Geno as much as anybody. But the truth of the matter is this. The beginning of the season compared to the end of last year was a stark difference. Okay? Look at that completion percentage in the first 8 games. Near 73%. Now, the last 9, it wasn't bad, but that was a near 5% fall off at 67.5%. Yardage went up, touchdowns went up, but the turnovers went way up from 3 to 8. Quarterback rating went down from 107 to 96. What the Seahawks need to see, that quarterback they saw in the first 8 games last year, that's got to stay. They need that quarterback all year long. Not the Geno we saw in the last 9 games. Not that he wasn't great, but be the guy that they paid him to be of what they saw in that first 8 games, and this Seattle team will be thrilled. More from Pete Carroll on Geno Smith. He led the NFL in completion percentage. He almost hit the 70% mark. That's what we've been shooting for all these years. If he can be somewhere in that area, then he will be giving us the kind of play that we need. And he looks great physically. He's really in great shape, and he's ready to go again. If Geno plays to his 2022 levels, his numbers are going to improve and get better just because the talent around him got better this season with adding in Jaxon Smith-Njigba and Zach Charbonnet. Just the talent around him will make those numbers go up if the play is there. But I believe that the play is even going to step up even a bit further for Geno Smith. And the big thing I'm watching for of what he needs to improve that has my attention is the short passing game. That specifically. He was the best deep ball passer in the league. And in medium range, he was decent. But the short passing game, behind the line of scrimmage, Geno struggled and was near the bottom half in almost every category when it came to the short passing game. So that's what I'm watching for. His next step. We hear the consistency from Pete Carroll. But from Coach Jones, what am I saying? I'm looking at the short passing game. And I think that's very fixable. So, do you believe in Geno Smith? We do here at Seahawks Today. We're big Geno Smith fans. We love Geno around here. But what about you? Be real with me in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Our pinned comment today. Do you believe in Geno? B for believe. D for don't. I want to spam those B's in the chat. Get it in there. Show some love for Geno Smith. And let us know what you think in the comment section below. A chip on their shoulder, according to SI's Albert Breer, in a great article that he did this week in the Monday Morning Quarterback on the Seahawks heading into 2023. He made it very clear that talking to several different players and coaches, the feeling around this Seahawks organization heading into this season is that they certainly have something to prove, that there are a lot of doubters out there. It's a young football team, and that they feel like that they have something to put out there, kind of an us against the world mentality of sorts, if you want to call it that. Here's more from Geno Smith. Who wants to be an alpha dog on the team? You've got Bobby Wagner, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, myself, Jarran Reed. So many alphas. It's crazy. The night before, I'm like, I need to get some sleep early, like 8:30, 9, because if I don't get up at 5 a.m. and get out of my house at 5:15, somebody else is going to beat me to the weight room. That's just the culture of our team at this point. You know, I'll put it this way. It's a Mamba mentality of what we're seeing. These guys are making each other better. And you go back to 2022. This team played with something to prove. As everybody said, it was a rebuilding year. This team's too young. What are they going to do without Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner? And what'd they do? They won 9 games and went to the postseason. Now is not the time to back down. You take that energy you had last year and use it to your advantage again. And I heard Geno mention the alphas on this team. I think we got to shout out the other alphas as well. And in my definition, when I think about an alpha that comes to this football team, I'm thinking of a veteran that is physical, that puts up, doesn't shut up, that's a leader. They got these alphas here, okay? You got to earn being an alpha. And I look at Bobby, of course, DK, Tyler Lockett, Geno. Those guys are dogs. Those are alphas, okay? All right? Jarran Reed, as Geno mentioned there. Draymond Jones comes in, and Draymond Jones has been a force to be reckoned with already. What about Uchenna Nwosu as well? Uchenna is not backing down to anybody. He is not fearful of anything. And then, of course, you can't talk alphas without mentioning the true alpha in Quandre Diggs. Quandre Diggs has been kind of the most outspoken guy of sorts for this Seahawks team this offseason. The way that he's stepped up and been a voice for this team, he's an alpha. This team, they got the young cats, but the alphas are there too. So, with that said, this team having something to prove, let's sip on the haterade for a second. Just show you what other people are saying about this Seahawks team. The over-under, according to our guys in the desert, is at 8.5 wins. Now, you don't have to take my betting advice, but I can tell you I am hammering the over on the Seahawks winning 8.5 games or more. I think that's very doable. I think that's easy money. And I can understand the disrespect. You might be saying to yourselves, like, man, they can do better than 8.5 wins. Fox Sports, in their win projection, put the Seahawks at 10-7, which, with all these improvements the Seahawks made this year, only 1 win difference. I think they've improved more than 1 win. SI's All Seahawks put the Seahawks at 11-6. That's more reasonable, I think. Field goals, the Seahawks SB Nation site, they also said 11-6. But then the disrespect. Even those within the media covering this team disrespecting the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, I'm looking at you, 12th Man Rising. 7-10? I mean, that's ridiculous. I'd be pissed off, too, if I was Bobby and Geno and those guys. So, yeah, they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. Vegas, their own media, they doubt them. They say they can't do it. This team's going to go out there and ball, and I think you're going to like what you see from the Seahawks in 2023. Predict the Seahawks record for me in the comments section. Okay, stand up. Show some love for your Seattle Seahawks. I don't want to hear it from those guys at field goals in Vegas. They don't know ball, clearly. Predict the Seahawks record. It's going to be better than 7 or 8 wins like those haters are saying. Go put your bets down. It's going to be more than 8.5. Weigh in. Tell me what you think. Predict the Seahawks record in 2023 and let me know how you feel. Folks, you will not want to miss out. Coming up on Saturday night, our Seahawks and Cowboys watch party. We'll get things started about an hour prior to kickoff with our pregame show. Myself, Tyler Smith, Smitty, we will be here with you, and we're going to have a great time. We're going to do some giveaways, some super chat contests. It is going to be a dandy. If you've never been a part of our watch parties before, your mind's about to be blown. I can tell you that much. You are in for a treat when we're going to have a few drinks on hand, analyze the game in real time. It is down to be a great time coming up on Saturday night. You will not want to miss it. We're battling our Cowboys channel. Tom Downey, friend of the show, but he's an enemy this week. We want to stick it to Tom and show that Seahawk fans, the 12s, are the best fans in the NFL, not those fake America's team fans. So much for being America's team, right? Show me those playoff wins there in Dallas. What do you have to root for, right? Subscribe now to the channel. Let's beat the Cowboys report and subs this week. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV to subscribe for free today. One final note before we go, let's hit on Devon Witherspoon. As Pete Carroll said that Devon Witherspoon will be the team's starting nickelback this season. Fortunately, he's not joining that awful band. This is a position on the football field that he'll be sliding into. And I'll say this, the kind of expectation was when you drafted Devon Witherspoon, you used the number 5 pick on him, well, he's going to start at outside corner to Tariq Woolen, right? They're going to be opposite of each other. Wrong. And the reason why this is the case, Devon Witherspoon didn't necessarily do anything wrong, but Mike Jackson's been so good, okay? We heard from Pete Carroll say during the offseason programs that Mike Jackson was the MVP this offseason for the Seahawks, that he has been all that in a bag of chips. And now you got Kobe Bryant playing the safety spot, and going into camp, the idea was that Kobe Bryant would be the nickelback. But this decision makes a lot of sense for Seattle. If Kobe is going to play safety, and if Mike Jackson's still playing at a high level, you don't need to punish him and demote him when he's doing a good thing. This is a win, I think, for all parties involved. Devon Witherspoon one day will be a starting outside corner, but it doesn't have to be right now. Witherspoon, his offseason, started out getting drafted number 5 overall by the Seahawks out of Illinois. And he was one of the top standouts of OTAs and rookie minicamp for Seattle. He really showed up and showed out and did everything that was asked of him in those offseason programs over the last couple of months when he got the opportunity there. And then on top of that, besides just being a standout at OTAs and rookie minicamp, the big story to begin training camp that caught people's attention was when he held out the first few days of training camp. And that didn't make some folks happy with how he handled things there, as there was a disagreement about when his bonus would get paid. Ultimately, it got settled. He came in, got to work right away, and looked really good. He did suffer a non-serious hamstring injury in practice recently, but it doesn't seem like it should be an issue that lingers on for Devon Witherspoon. So, weigh in and tell us, is it the right call to start Witherspoon at nickel instead of outside corner? I think it's the right call for now. This could change later. He might be the starting outside corner later on the season, but for now, nickelback, I think that's fine. What do you think? Weigh in, tell us what you think in the comment section. Y for yes, in for no, if this is the right call for Seattle to start Witherspoon at that spot. Hit me up on social media for more Seahawks coverage, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, at Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there. I'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. All right, so that is one segment down. And we got 2 more to go. Coming up next, we're going to talk trade targets, some potential moves the Seahawks could make before the season begins. And I am rejoined now by Tyler Smith. Smitty is here with us. Want to know, do you believe in Geno Smith? I got to tell you, I liked what I heard from Pete Carroll. I think of the 2 things I said there, and I'm very curious how you feel, Smitty. The first of those, Pete Carroll's absolutely right when it comes to consistency. And then my take of the short passing game needs improvement. I think those are 2 things that if Geno works, that he can put the work on, we can see improvement in those 2 things. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Short game is, like you said, it needs work. I mean, if that's what we're going to have to improve upon rather than like your deep passing game, I'm going to take that 10 times out of 10.
Right.
It's much harder to develop, especially when, your Geno, we know now, is he's 32
right.
years old. He's going to be in his age 32 season. So you want a guy who can make marginal improvements closer to the line of scrimmage. And, the deep ball is great that it's there already. We don't have to teach that. It's already there, and he's got one of the best touches in the National Football League. Work on the stuff, get tighter toward the line of scrimmage, and we can have a very successful season. And I think a guy like Jaxon Smith will make that a lot easier for him.
I think so. Do you believe in Geno? The chat, unanimous. Ben, Ian, Mark, Caleb, Matthew, Ben, all saying they believe. Adam says, you got to believe. Wayne says the short passing game has been addressed with 2 rookie running backs and JSN. That's a very good point as well. And that's what I brought up, too, that just with the talent alone, if Geno plays at the level he did last year, you'll see those numbers improve in that sense. Gary believes as well. Got to believe. Got to believe, folks. Adam says McIntosh could be a short passing game target. Let's go back to the Super Chat menu. Here's what we're offering today, folks. We are at $7 so far, but if you want to interact and get some screen time, get your username on the show and want to contribute and support the work we're doing here on Seahawks Today, here's how you can get involved. $signs below the chat box. Any Super Chat, you get a shout-out. We'll show you some love. $5 Super Chat, we'll sing the DK song. Touchdowns all day, he rules. Every $7 Super Chat will take a Geno shot in honor of our buddy Geno Smith. That was invented, by the way, on the night that Geno signed his extension. $20 Super Chat will do a little beer chug. $50 Super Chat will get out the beer shotgun. $100, you get a spot on the Boot Hall of Fame. We'll induct you and do a great ceremony for you and everything. We inducted a lot of people over the weekend on our preseason watch party. And then after that, if we get $200 collectively, we'll take down the boot. 3 beers and 1 drink as fast as we can. $7 Super Chat coming in. Adam writes in, what could be the plan if Jamal Adams won't be 100% in the first 3 games of the regular season? 12 wins, 5-loss season. I think the plan is pretty simple. It's Julian Love. Julian Love is the plan for the Seahawks. And Julian Love, I think, is going to be fantastic. Even if Jamal Adams is out there, I think you'll see some 3 high safety looks at times, and they'll be on the field together. And I don't know how you feel, Smitty. I don't know how you feel, but I'm very confident in Julian Love. I'm not worried about when Jamal Adams comes back at this point.
I'm incredibly confident in Julian Love. He showed that he could be a very valuable piece to a defense in a secondary last year in New York. And Jamal Adams, I'm not even 100% sure that Jamal Adams is going to be taking over a Julian Love starting spot. I think we're going to see them both.
You might see Jamal play some linebacker.
I think you're going to see Jamal Adams at linebacker. I think he's going to get sent off of the edge like he was being when he really had some of his more successful games. I know they called him Blitz Boy for a while,
right.
But he was successful when he did it. And guess what? Now we have more protection over the top with Julian Love and obviously Quandre Diggs, who's been the man in the arena for the past 4 years for Seattle.
John Smith, good to see you, my guy. Always a pleasure anytime he's in the chat. 12 wins, 5-loss season. That's very doable, Adam. I think that's very doable for the Seahawks team. Cheers to Adam, and go Hawks. All right, next segment. We're going to talk trade targets now. I got 3 players the Seahawks could potentially make a move for before the season begins. And let me preface this segment by saying, first and foremost, folks, the Seahawks are in a spot where they are very good as is, right? Do they have to make a move? Not necessarily. But if this team wants to be a contender, a Super Bowl threat, then there's still a player away. Then there's a move to be made. I think that the Seahawks need one more move before the season starts, and they very well could. Coming up next, trade targets. Let's break it down for you here. I got 3 different positions, 3 players that could be a member of the Seattle Seahawks when the season begins. That's coming up right now here on Seahawks Today. The Seahawks have Super Bowl aspirations in 2023. They're going all in on this year. But in order to go all in, this team still is a player away from being where they need to be. On today's show, I got 3 potential trade targets for your Seattle Seahawks, as well as 3 different positions of need for Seattle. We'll go over those in just a moment. But first, who is a player the Seahawks should trade for? We have a few names to get to, but who comes to mind for you? Let us know in the comments section. We'll get started with today's show. The first name on our list we have talked a whole lot about here on Seahawks Today over the last few months is Chase Young. And according to reports, Chase Young so far throughout training camp has looked the part for the Washington Commanders. He has looked like the player that they drafted a couple years ago out of the Ohio State, playing at an extraordinary high level. He was a Pro Bowler as a rookie, also won the Defensive Player of the Year award that year. And Chase Young right now looks even better than what he did back in 2020. Now, granted, we haven't seen a lot of Chase Young over the last 2 seasons, playing in just 12 games in that stretch as he has been injured and hasn't been available for the Washington Commanders. But you look at the statistics and what he brings to the table, this is a guy that has all sorts of potential. I can tell you that much right now. 7.5 sacks as a rookie in 15 games played. 2021 and 2022, with all that time missed, didn't necessarily go the way he liked. But here's the deal when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks and Chase Young. Chase Young, I believe, is still that same number 2 overall talent. Okay, if he's healthy, you can get that guy who could be one of the best pass rushers in the entire National Football League. And when it comes to Chase Young, here's a decision the Seahawks have to think about. If you feel confident enough in Jarran Reed at the nose tackle spot, where he has begun training camp at, and the Seahawks adjusted accordingly, putting him in that spot with the lack of depth at that position. If you feel confident about that, then this would be an incredible addition to the defensive line. Then you got Draymond Jones on one side, you got Chase Young on another, and Jarran Reed holding things down at the nose tackle spot. All of a sudden, you went from 0 to 100 real quick with this group. Now you got the juices flowing. I'm fired up if you make this move. And now the next question, you may be sitting there asking yourself, well, how much is it going to cost? Chase Young can't be cheap, right? 2nd-round pick, and you could probably get Chase Young. The Commanders then don't have to pay him at that point, and they get to stash a pick away in next year's draft. Commanders probably feel pretty good about that situation. You take him off their hands, and as far as paying him goes, what I would do is this. If I'm John Schneider and Pete Carroll, I would say, okay, Chase, we're going to bring you in, but we need to see you be healthy and play at a high level. And if you do that, then we'll extend you, and then we'll pay you. But if he doesn't, then you count your losses or franchise tag, move on, whatever it may be. That's how I would approach this, and I think the risk outweighs, the reward outweighs the risk in this case. It'd be a home run for Seattle. Should the Seahawks trade for Chase Young? What do you think? I've laid out the situation. Now it's your turn to tell us what you think. T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in the comments section. What do you think about this possibility? T for trade, P for pass. Let us know in the comment section below. Next up is DeForest Buckner. We talked about him on the channel a few days ago, the defensive tackle from the Indianapolis Colts. And DeForest Buckner is just starting to come into his own. a 2016 first-round pick out of Oregon, began his career with the San Francisco 49ers, then went to Indianapolis, and now we're starting to see DeForest Buckner look like one of the best interior defensive linemen in the National Football League, as he has really come on strong there in Indianapolis. And the Colts are in a situation where they're rebuilding. They're starting over. They might be the worst team in the league in 2023. With Anthony Richardson under center now, Jonathan Taylor's not happy. They're restarting. DeForest Buckner doesn't fit the timeline of the Indianapolis Colts. So it makes sense for the Colts to go ahead and move on from Buckner now. Now, look at these numbers. And this is a defensive tackle, might I add you, putting up these type of statistics. In 2022, in 17 games played, 8 sacks. That's a sack every other game with 2 forced fumbles, 11 tackles for loss, 74 tackles. He is a difference maker every time he steps onto the football field. Buckner is still in his prime years. And you add Buckner into the fold, and you have that depth there. Jarran Reed, Draymond Jones, among others here. Now you're starting to talk about this team being pretty serious. Now you have, for the defenses, or for the offenses, rather, that you face, you are requiring a double team there. You are creating a matchup nightmare, essentially, with putting DeForest Buckner in that spot. Now, do you have to pay him? You do. And he's not going to necessarily be cheap, but you still get his prime years to pay him. The trade value could be done with a third-round pick and then a player. I think a guy like Noah Fant, for example, you could package and you could get DeForest Buckner. I love this idea. I'm fired up about this possibility. I would take Chase Young or DeForest Buckner, either one. If I had to choose between the two, I'm probably going DeForest Buckner, but I'm just sitting here today and I'm saying, John, Pete, please do something. Get one of these two guys. It'll make all the difference in the world for this Seattle Seahawks team if you get one of these two. Please, please, please. Pick one. Which guy would you rather have, Chase Young or DeForest Buckner? Weigh in. Tell us in the comments section. Type CY for Chase Young. Type DB for DeForest Buckner. Let us know which guy you'd rather have in Seattle in the comments section below. Folks, you will not want to miss out coming up Saturday night. Seahawks, Cowboys, preseason game number 2. We're going to be live here on the channel about an hour prior to kickoff, and we are going to have a party here on the channel. We really mean that. We are going to be having super chat contests. We're going to have a few drinks on hand. Myself, Tyler Smith, Schmitty, we're going to be here with you, and we will entertain. I can promise you that much. This is going to be a hell of a time. We're going to stick it to those Cowboy fans, the worst fans in the NFL. I want to make our presence known. I want them to hear us all the way in Dallas. I want them to hear us all the way in Seattle, in Tokyo. I don't care. We are going to put on a show here on Seahawks Today. Do not miss out on it. Join us coming up Saturday night. You will not want to miss it. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. Turn on notifications and join us. Last trade target on the list is Devin White. Now, compared to the other two, Devin White would be a luxury, not a necessity for Seattle. But it would still be a very welcome addition. I would still prefer the other two. Devin White is very talented. Second-team All-Pro in 2020, Pro Bowler in 2021, first-round pick out of LSU in 2019, former Super Bowl champion. All of that is good with Devin White. None of this has to do with any knock on Devin White. I love to have him on my team, but just based on need, where the Seahawks are at, what they're looking for, I would take those other two players first. But with that said, Devin White sounds like he wants out of Tampa Bay, and the Seahawks have some question marks at the linebacker position right now. We know Jordyn Brooks is on his way back, that he's been activated from PUP, but we still need to see what he looks like. There's some question marks as far as Devin Bush goes. And then, of course, Bobby's only on a one-year deal. Devin White could be a leader on your defense and an impact player for a long time. Not the top priority, but you add in Devin White, and all of a sudden, you're talking about the Seahawks having the best linebacker room in the National Football League if you add in Devin White. The other two, I'd rather take first. But this can be done. And here's how it can be done. His trade value, there's not much of a trade market. Bucks didn't get a ton of offers. You can probably have him for about a third-round pick. A player of that caliber for a third-round pick. You're not going to find a player of Devin White's caliber like that in the third round. It'd be a steal for Seattle. You do have to pay him, though, but it would set the tone. And, you know, we think about the Legion, right? And that tough-minded defense, the history of what the Seahawks did. Devin White would join the fold and carry on that tradition, that legacy. So, tell me this. Should the Seahawks trade for Devin White? Y for yes, N for no. Lay it down in the comments section. Tell me what you think. Y for yes, N for no, if the Seahawks should make a trade for Devin White or not. Interact with me on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads as well, at Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there. And we shall see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. All right. We got a $100 super chat from John Smith. Bang! John Smith,
Let's
my
go,
guy.
John.
Everybody spam John in the chat. Let's go.
Let's go, John.
John. I love John Smith. John is incredible, a huge supporter of this channel, and he's going on the Boot Hall of Fame right now. John, congratulations. He says, I like the defensive tackle deal. We've invested in edge and outside linebackers within Nwosu, Hall, Mafe, Taylor. We're number twos. How many sacks do our edge players get when they have to double our DTs? I hate to lose Fant, but Disley-Parkinson combo is still a rock-solid tight end room. John, we're going to pay off your stuff here in just a minute, but let's analyze what you're talking about in this comment. Smitty.
Yeah.
Like what I talked about in the vid. A double team there on a guy like DeForest Buckner, that changes the whole dynamic, the entire defense.
100%. I mean, he would slide in and be a top 3 player talent-wise on the defense. You could at this point, I know this could anger a lot of people, but you could put him above Bobby as far as his age goes. DeForest Buckner's in the middle of his prime right now. He's stacking right up there with Tariq Woolen and Quandre Diggs as some of the most impactful players that would be on this roster. So that could be a game changer, Super Bowl caliber move that Seattle makes, or at least get out of the NFC.
Right. John, much love to you. Welcome once again to the Boot Hall of Fame. John Smith, great guy. He and I are friends on LinkedIn, actually. And we talk every now and then. And John's been a loyal supporter of this show. And, I mean, they don't get much better than John Smith. John, it is my highest honor to welcome you back to the Boot Hall of Fame. This is something you've earned, something you deserve. They can never take it away from you. This is as good as it gets. I mean, if we were to have a Seahawks Today Mount Rushmore, John Smith would be on it. John, my friend, not just my LinkedIn buddy, but a loyal supporter of Seahawks Today. There you are, my guy. Welcome back to the Boot Hall of Fame. Everybody spam John in the chat.
Let's go. John, great last name. Appreciate you.
Any relation to you, Smitty?
No. Actually, funny enough.
Are you looking to be adopted?
If we're throwing around $100 super chats to the channel, I might be
John
in the market.
Smith, would you like to adopt our producer, Tyler Smitty, lifelong Seahawk fan here? Put yourself back on the screen.
I'll get myself back on the screen. Don't you worry. All right. How we doing, John? Appreciate you.
Would you like to adopt Smitty?
I don't know. Do people really adopt people with beards these days? I might be a little old for that. I don't know.
You know what? It's Seahawks Today law. We write our own rules.
That's right. This is a autonomous zone.
Yes.
Up in
So
Seahawks Todayville.
John mentioned in his comments in the chat, he says he wants me to do a boot today.
We're $86 away.
We are $86 away from said boot. It can be done. Chat, collectively speaking. Oh, sorry, Smitty. John says, my kids are grown. No more kids. Sorry, Smitty.
Hey, fair enough. I'm grown, too. My parents did the same thing. They're out.
Sorry. I guess he could be your rich uncle or something.
That's right. That's right. I'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah, that's fine. John says Smitty's a great kid already. His parents should be proud. Shout out to Mom and Dad Smitty.
Look at John, man. He's making a great impression on my first Seahawks Live.
What a debut for Smitty.
I know. I can't wait to see him this weekend for the watch party. It's going to be a great time.
John, I hope you join us on Saturday night. We're going to have a great time. $86, and we will do Das Boot. Here's what we're offering today. $5 super chat. We'll sing the DK song. $7 will do a Geno shot. $20 do a little beer chug. $50 will do a beer shotgun. $100 you get a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame, just like how we inducted John Smith just now. And we are $86 away as a group from me taking down Das Boot, which John wants me to do today. So we'll see. Now this is funny. From John Smith. Snip, snip. I really mean it. No more kids. TMI.
That's nuts.
That's good. That's really good. Final segment. Today, we are going to do stock up, stock down. I am going to tell you about who has stood out throughout training camp. Some new guys that their stock is up and stock down from training camp and from the preseason. As we head into Saturday's game against the Dallas Cowboys. That is what's ahead here on Seahawks Today. We will bring that to you coming up in just a few moments. Our final segment, stock up, stock down. So look forward to that. That is what's ahead as Smitty is getting ready here, folks. I got to tell you, I feel like training camp just went by.
It really did. It flew. It flew for sure.
Today's Kids Day. John Smith not having any kids out there. Today's Kids Day, last public practice. And then training camp will wrap up at the end of the week, and then everybody goes back to the practice facility and leave the confines of the ocean front. I love the views from Seahawks training camp. That ocean right there and everything.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Really exemplifies the Seahawk name.
It's perfect. I love it. Coming up next, let's do stock up, stock down. Who has caught our attention so far at this point? We will go over that. John says the kid from Arkansas could surprise Matt Landers, that is, at wide receiver. Guy had nearly 1,000 yards against SEC DBs. Love Bobo. Watch out for this Landers kid. Landers had a touchdown. He was very good the other day. Yeah, that's a good point, John.
Tyler, I got a quick technical question for you. So
okay.
I see we're doing this next segment here, and it's going to be a cold open. Now, would you like me to play the
just hard
intro song?
No. Just
hard pause it?
Yep.
All right, sounds like a plan. I'll splice it in there afterwards.
Just hard pause it. All right.
A little technical talk for you guys.
Yes, inside baseball, as they say. All right, let's do it. Final segment, we're talking stock up, stock down. I've been told stocks only go up. There are a few others that actually had their stock drop. We'll show you that here on Seahawks Today, up next. You will not want to miss it on Saturday night as we will be live here on Seahawks Today for our Seahawks versus Cowboys watch party. We are really going to stick it to those nasty Cowboy fans as we're going to give you analysis and instant reaction as the game is going on. Have a fun time doing it with a few drinks in hand. And did I mention that Tyler Smith, Smitty, is going to be in the house with me as well? What more could you want? What more could you ask for? Join us on Saturday night. Turn on notifications. That way you are the first to be here when we get the show on the road coming up on Saturday. And between now and then, we're battling our Cowboys report in new subscribers here on the channel. I want nothing more than to stick it to Tom Downey and show why Seahawk fans are so much better than Cowboy fans. Subscribe to the channel. We don't want to just beat them on the football field, but off the football field as well. Let's see who can pick up more subs this week. 12s, I believe in you. Let's get the job done. Stock up, stock down. Heading into the second preseason game, I got a list of individuals whose stock has gone up, stock has gone down with training camp wrapped up and the second preseason game upon us. So without further ado, let's start off with whose stock is up. That would be Jordyn Brooks at the linebacker position. Granted, we haven't seen Jordyn Brooks just yet, but everything is progressing nicely for Jordyn Brooks at this point in time. This week, he came off the PUP list, was activated, and he says he expects to be ready to go for the Seahawks Week 1 opener against the Los Angeles Rams. Remember, at the end of last year when he tore his ACL, and then as we went through the offseason, we were wondering, is he going to miss the start of the season? How long is this recovery going to go? 8 months. That's all it was. 8 months before Jordyn Brooks was activated again. A miraculous recovery for Jordyn Brooks. Here's what he had to say on his work to get back on the football field. I just attacked the rehab from day one. I know people were throwing numbers around in terms of what the return timetable would be. I just went off how I felt. And it's been a great process of getting back. The way I'm feeling now, I think I would be ready for Week 1. So there you have it. Jordyn Brooks feels like he's going to be ready to go for Week 1. What do you think? Is Jordyn Brooks back, and is he starting for the Seahawks Week 1? Weigh in the comments section or pin comment today. Y for yes, in for no. Jordyn Brooks starts for the Seahawks Week 1. What do you think? Weigh in. Tell us what you think in the comments section. Number 2 on Stock Up, we point to Jaxon Smith-Njigba at the wide receiver position. JSN has had one of, if not the best off seasons of anybody on this Seahawks team. And the role for him that's expected of him is to be the number 3, the slot receiver. And in the last preseason game, he played in a total of 12 snaps. And although it was a limited sample size, he was maybe the best player off the field. And he jumped off the page. So much so that Brian Baldinger, Baldy's Breakdowns, had a breakdown at JSN. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go look at it. Here's some of what Baldy had to say about JSN. He sees it, referring to the zone, and he gets as much of it back to set up the third down. All right, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, he's got his role in the slot, and he's executing it well. The numbers for JSN against the Vikings included 3 catches for 25 yards, 8.3 yards a reception. He was very solid there in his Seahawks debut. And this might be an overreaction of sorts, but I'm going to go ahead and just put this out there anyway. And maybe I'm setting expectations too high, but let's just do it, folks. I could sit here and honestly make a case that Jaxon Smith-Njigba, in his first year in Seattle, in a crowded receiver room with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, just might go over 1,000 yards receiving. Granted, that would take away some from DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, but JSN is showing that he has what it takes to get open, to stack up those yardage, and make an impact on this Seahawks offense. And one of the biggest weaknesses of Geno Smith last year was the short passing game. JSN's going to help in that regard. Another name. I keep getting people just begging for me to talk about this guy in the comments section. Here's your wish, folks. Levi Bell, the defensive end, who the Seahawks picked up this offseason, just came out of nowhere and played a very good game last week. Corbin K. Smith of SIL Seahawks had this to say. Just spoke with Seahawks edge Levi Bell. He was surprised that he wasn't at least a 6th or 7th round pick, but he said battling against established NFL veterans in the USFL ended up being a blessing, preparing for training camp, playing outside full-time for the first time. He came out of Texas State, where he was undrafted as a defensive end and a fullback out of Texas State, so has got experience on both sides of the football. Ends up in the USFL, playing for the Michigan Panthers in a total of 6 games, and although his time wasn't very long in the USFL, he still made quite the impact as a young player. Granted, think about this with the USFL too. I know the talent level obviously isn't what you see on an NFL roster, but those are grown men, right? Those guys, for the most part, have been playing professional football for a long time. Even with that transition from Texas State to the USFL, in 6 games played, he had 4 sacks, which was tied for the 10th most in the entire league. It was impressive. Now, Bell wasn't even on the radar when training camp began. And after last week, I think right now he's squarely on that bubble with a shot to make the team. We'll see what happens. Still a ways to go before we cut down that roster to 53. But he's making a strong case of why he deserves to make this roster. And at the very least, he's going to be on that practice squad and should still be around this Seahawks team watch out. This is probably not the last you've heard from Levi Bell. This is a really good UDFA class for the Seahawks. We began after the draft with about 28 different UDFAs, and now we've seen the likes of Levi Bell, to Jake Bobo, and others. I've been very impressed. Snyder and company did their homework on these guys. Who is a UDFA that can make the roster? Is it Levi Bell? Is it Jake Bobo? Is it somebody else? Tell us in the comment section who comes to mind of a UDFA that can make the Seahawks roster. Last on our stock-up list is Jonathan Sutherland at the defensive back spot. Now, granted, there's a lot of guys we could have talked about for being stock up, but I wanted to spotlight these four in particular. And Sutherland, because of the journey. Listen to this as far as Jonathan Sutherland goes. He's one of these guys that's just not supposed to be here, right? Undrafted out of Penn State. Didn't get a whole lot of playing time in his 5 seasons at Penn State. Started 11 games, but was known for being quite the leader on that Penn State team, as he was team captain for 4 consecutive seasons there with Penn State. It was pretty remarkable of just the type of guy that he was recognized for being. And now he comes to the Seattle Seahawks, and if you watch him on film and what he's been able to do with the Seahawks team, whether it's been in training camp or in that first preseason game, he's been everywhere on the football field. You can't miss Sutherland. They've lined him up at that nickel spot. They've played him at safety as well, and he's made enough of an impact that he's been getting reps with the ones even at this point. So watch out for Jonathan Sutherland. This is a sneaky good find for the Seahawks. Another good UDFA, a good leader, a good locker room guy. Sutherland might end up making this roster for the Seahawks when it's all said and done. Stock down. Let's go over these real quick. We'll start with Mike Morris at the defensive end spot. Not too great for Mike Morris, as he had a little bit of a setback of some sorts. Missing practice on Tuesday with a sore shoulder. And it's getting competitive for playing time at this point. With Mike Morris, there's a lot of guys competing in that spot and making things interesting. Not what Mike Morris wanted to hear. And this is nothing against him, just unfortunate timing on his part. Stock goes down a little bit on that front. D. Eskridge, we continue to talk about D. Eskridge and the stock going down for D. Eskridge. Obviously, you had the situation going back to February, the arrest and what ultimately resulted in a 6-game personal conduct policy suspension. But even with the suspension, he was eligible to play in the preseason. And what do you know? D. Eskridge ends up getting hurt on the opening kickoff of the last game. Tough break with the injury. But think about this. D. Eskridge, you got the suspension. You have this injury, which I can't even talk about injuries without talking about D. Eskridge the last, 2-3 years. Okay? And then other guys at his position are stepping up. We've talked about Jake Bobo a lot here. Landers look really good the last preseason game. All of this to say, it's not going well for D. Eskridge at this point. It is, if you're D. Eskridge, you should be panicking right now. Now, with the suspension, they probably keep you around of some sorts. But when you do come back and when you get healthy, is there playing time for you? Is there a role for you on this team? I don't know, personally. Stock down also to Darrell Taylor. Darrell Taylor in a position where things are very competitive for playing time in his spot, opposite of Uchenna and Wosu. And what we've seen from the young cats, from Boye Mafe and Derek Hall, those guys are stepping up. And they play the position totally different from each other, and they're both bringing something unique to this defense. One's a power rusher, one's a speed rusher, and they are moving up quickly in the depth chart. We've heard Pete Carroll say that Boye Mafe has been the most improved player of anybody this offseason. Well, Taylor, meanwhile, hasn't done anything to prove that he should start for the Seahawks team. He hasn't done anything this offseason to say, you know what, I'm better, more deserving than Mafe or Hall at this point. He's been outplayed by those two, to put it simply. Taylor's coming off a season where he had 9+ sacks. That was great, sure. but he struggled in literally everything else. Mafe and Hall, at this point in time, granted there's still time to change course and correct things, but at the moment, Mafe and Hall both look like more complete pass rushers and better suited to deserve playing time than Taylor does it right now. Before we go, what is your expectation for the Seahawks game against the Cowboys on Saturday night? We all want to win, but what are you looking for? What's your expectations for Saturday? Weigh in. Tell us what you think in the comments section. Give me your thoughts, how you think this is going to go. What do you want to see from your Seattle Seahawks? Tell me in the comments section. Hit me up on social media. I'll have more updates as the Seahawks game is going on Saturday. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and more. Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there. I'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. All right, there we go. Final segment in the books, and bang! Another $50 super chat from John Smith. Woo! Woo! John again, getting it done.
Let's go, John.
Everybody spam John in the chat. Incredible performance tonight from John Smith in the chat. We got to get out the beer shotgun. Smitty, if you don't mind grabbing that.
Of course.
We'll get out the beer shotgun. And while Smitty's getting that ready. And I think you might as well get the boot ready as well while we're at it, because John says that I am booting tonight, come hell or high water. And we are, what is it now? $36 away from the boot. So here's the boot right here. Smitty, come back. Take the boot with you. I'm very convinced this is going to happen. So while Smitty's getting ready, will the $36 come in before Smitty gets back? We got to do a beer shotgun, and then we got to do a boot when Smitty comes back. But let's start with this $50 super chat from John. For Brooks to recover from an ACL injury, I've torn both of mine, as fast as he did, shows incredible mental toughness. I can't agree more. That surgery takes you back to zero. What a hard worker. Tyler, you are booting tonight, come hell or high water. Let's go, John. John, my guy, John Smith, in the chat showing us some love. Thank you, John, for that. I agree. Just an absolutely incredible effort from Jordyn Brooks to get back to this point. 8 months is miraculous. I mean, it truly is. I mean, think about this. I'm no doctor, but for Jordyn Brooks to come back before Jamal Adams is back. Jamal Adams got hurt week 1 of last year. I mean, it's just miraculous. And we heard from Jordyn Brooks. We read it to you earlier of him saying that he just made up his mind. He was going to do whatever it took to get back on the football field. I mean, it's absolutely outstanding. I'm so happy for him. Payton with a $20 super chat. Payton88. Thanks for sending in the super chat, Payton. $20 super chat from Payton. That means that we will do a beer chug. Payton, we'll put your super chat on screen coming up in just a moment. That means we are $16 away from Das Boot, which we are getting ready as we speak. Because I believe that by the time Smitty comes back here, we're going to be chugging Das Boot. We're only $16 away. It can be done. Payton, when Smitty gets back, we'll throw your super chat on screen, and we'll do the beer chug, I promise. Waiting on Smitty to get back. So here's what's on deck, okay? I got to chug a beer for Payton. We got to do a beer shotgun for John Smith. And there it is. John Smith with a $16 super chat. It's boot time. And Adam with a 20. And Pass with a 10. We're fired up. Happy Dad. Let's go. Smitty, you want to do the beer shotgun? We got some paying off to do, and we got a first-time super chatter from Adam as well. All right, we got to catch up on these super chats. It's starting to get a little wild here on Seahawks Today. What a start. What a day already. John Smith, thanks for the $50 super chat. We got 2 beer chugs. Pass with a $10 super chat. Let's pay these off, and then we'll get to the boot after that. What a day, folks. What a day we are having here on Seahawks Today. My goodness. You having fun, Smitty?
Having a great time.
Great time.
As soon as I get my microphone here.
Oh,
How we doing? I'm having a great time.
I love it. I love it. John Smith, Adam, Payton, passed. Well done, everybody. Here's the boot in all its glory coming to you in just a few moments. That is a happy dad. I'll be honest, I haven't done a happy dad boot yet.
It's more than a happy dad. It's a couple dads.
A few happy dads, 3 happy dads. I've done beer boots, but this would be the first seltzer boot I've done. We'll see how this goes.
All right, it's from Peyton.
All right, Payton, first-time super chatter, sending in a 20. I owe a beer chug to that. He's got the pear sliding. Says, go! I love it. Cheers to you. And then John says, these boots are made for chugging. Chugging is what they'll do. All these boots are going to chug all over you. I'll take a couple shots. This will warm me up before I take down the boot. Adam with a $20 super chat. That's a little beer chug. All right, Smitty, I'm going to need your help. I'm going to hand you a happy dad.
I can get it done.
You do a chug, and then you knock out the beer shotgun, too.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Here's the beer shotgun. You just stay where you're at.
All right, cool. And now, I'm not very experienced with this thing just yet.
So, there it is. He's opening it up now.
I'll throw myself on screen.
No, don't.
No, not quite yet.
After you close it.
That's right. That's a good idea.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so it's in there now, right?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and close it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Whoop.
almost.
How do we? Oh, there
We go.
All right.
Now put yourself on screen.
Okay.
So, here we go, folks. Smitty about to do the beer shotgun. And here's how this works. Smitty doing the beer shotgun. Let's see, put himself. There he is.
All right, here we go.
So Smitty doing the
Look at
beer
this stuff.
shotgun. You got to caulk it, put your mouth where that hole is, bonk,
Yeah, I see that.
and then
All right.
pull the trigger.
Damn.
So
All
here
right.
we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! And he's off. He's drinking away. Chug, chug, chug. Spam chug in the chat. Let's go. Oh,
Woo!
you fired up after that?
Woo! Yeah, I'm fired up. Let's go.
Okay.
Come on.
Now we got to give. I paid off a beer chug. I'll take a couple shots.
All right. And
I owe
you
3
gotta
shots.
Prep up for that boot.
So here's what we'll do. So Smitty, you do a chug
All right.
with the happy dad. I'll take 3 shots, and then I'll take down the boot.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
All right, here we go. Let's do this. Let's get to drinking, folks. We're enjoying ourselves today.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's 1. I owe 3 of these. 2. Third one. 3. Oh, man.
I love that. The
John
happy
Smith
dad.
says, is that hard seltzer? It is a hard seltzer, yes.
It's a great hard seltzer, though. It's not that White Claw nonsense.
No. John says, way to go, 12s. Tyler had to bring in a bench drinker. I can't do this all by myself.
It's fair. It's fair. A lot went on while I was gone retrieving the supplies.
Yes. Passed. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I got 10 on it. What's the word on Jamal Adams? No update yet. We're still waiting on Jamal Adams. Adam, thanks for the $10 super chat. First-time super chatter. Did we get Adam on screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure we got Adam on screen. Thank you,
I'll
Adam.
throw him back on there. Let's see.
One more time for Adam Crane with the $20 super chat. And that was the beer chug that Smitty did, just paying that
Correct.
off. All right. Next order of business is Das Boot. So,
Should we full screen you for this? Or should we just...
yeah, full screen me.
Yeah, let's full screen him.
Do the play-by-play and get the timer out.
Hell yeah.
How will I do on my first ever seltzer boot?
Interesting.
Hard seltzer, happy dad, death row records.
It's a lot of liquid.
It is a lot of liquid. I guarantee I'm going to have to take a piss after this.
I'm going to get the stopwatch out.
Stopwatch out. Here we go. We're rocking and rolling here on this happy hour edition of Seahawks Today. $230 in Super Chats. You want to be a part of the show? Super Chat. We'll keep the show going. Here we go.
I'm on your signal here, and I'll give a good play-by-play.
Play-by-play, you got the time.
Let's do it.
First ever seltzer boot. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And he's off. Jones with a good start, commanding start, as another Super Chat's rolling through, but he's got to get this done with this boot first. We are approaching 10 seconds. 10 seconds has been crossed. Jones on his way. He looks like he's a little bit more than halfway done with the boot so far. He's making real good progress, avoiding the bubble on the bottom of the boot. He's got it down.
What was my time?
21 and a half seconds.
21 and a half seconds. Not bad.
It's pretty much 3 beers, 3 seltzers, excuse me. So that is 7-second pace. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
That feels heavier.
It is.
Than the beer.
It is.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That was like a punch to the gut. Oh my gosh. I got a little wet from that one too. Goodness. Let's see. John, $5 Super Chat coming in. I believe that puts John like $9 away from another Boot Hall of Fame spot. John says, if John wants another. So how is Sunday Ticket going to work? So can we turn the volume down on the crappy NFL announcers and have Tyler and Smitty on the other screen, right? Yes. Excuse me. Sunday Ticket's going to be on YouTube TV.
Yep.
So you can have the game on YouTube TV and then pull us up on the YouTube stream, and you can listen to us that way. So great way to still watch the game and be a part of our show here too. So, yes, you can do both. 2 can be done, John, and enjoy both your Seahawks and Seahawks Day at the same time. So, yes, we'll be live for every Seahawks game this season. Passed with a $2 Super Chat. Chat Sports, Fafa Life, a real one. Hashtag real one. Thank you, Past. You are a real one. Thanks for sending in that Super Chat. Fun show today. Smitty, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I had a great time today. I'm just excited to get back to the watch parties because that is where I really had an awesome time, and I can't wait because we're playing the Cowboys this week. It's going to be a good one.
All right. We're going to sign off in a minute.
Yeah.
But one last chance for Super Chats. If you guys want some FaceTime, want to get on screen, we'll show you. But this is your last chance to get on the show before we sign off. Because Smitty and I have some things to attend to.
Yeah.
You're going to a Rangers game today, right?
Texas Rangers, first time tonight. Should be fun.
First Rangers game. Okay.
They're playing the Angels. So I went for Ohtani, so bad Texan on my part.
Is Ohtani pitching tonight?
No, they skipped him on this series. They skipped him with this pitching rotation. So hopefully he hits a homer.
Okay.
That'd be pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing the GOAT of baseball.
Go Rangers.
Yeah, still go Rangers. I want to see a high-scoring game.
Or go Mariners, rather.
Yes. Yeah. Go Mariners.
We got about 15 seconds, and then we'll go. Reminder, join us coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, let me
as
throw
we'll
that
be
up on
live.
the screen
I'll put the
for
sub
us.
link in the chat. Subscribe now. Make sure to join us. It is going to be a great time.
It is going to be a lot of fun,
Myself, Smitty, will be here with you.
You're not going to want to miss it.
You will not. We're 1-0 this season. Preseason wins still count as far as I'm concerned. Let's go to 2-0. Let's get the job done. Sub link is in the chat.
Let me throw this up for our last little thing
there
on
it
the
is.
screen today. Here we go.
Caleb says Ohtani to the Mariners. Okay, John. We'll get to that here in just a second before we sign off. Sub link in the chat. Join us for our watch party against the Cowboys. One more note before we go. John Smith says, put Adam Kane on the Boot Hall of Fame if that's okay. Have a good night, guys. John, I will do that. That's how we will sign off this evening.
That is a stand-up guy, John Smith.
That is an excellent choice to put Adam on the Boot Hall of Fame. Everybody, one more time. The MVP of today's show, John Smith. As we sign off, Spam John in the chat. He made this show unbelievable today. Made it a memorable day here on the channel. Adam, welcome to the Boot Hall of Fame. John, congrats to you on bringing him in and for your efforts today. Unreal job. As we sign off tonight, Adam Kane, welcome to the Boot Hall of Fame. There you go. 2 more inductees this afternoon. We will sign off, folks. Have a great night. We will see you on the channel throughout the rest of the week for more Seahawks updates. And we'll be live on Saturday for the Seahawks and Cowboys right here on Seahawks Today. For Tyler Smith, I'm Tyler Jones saying so long. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a great night, everybody.